Oh, it's gonna get weird. I've been living this way for 5 years now. I think it's time to get weird. I'm a crazy nomad living with 2 dogs. I basically am a dog at this point. You guys ready to get weird? I am. There's a lot of weird things in nomad life. You guys ask a lot of weird questions too. I get a lot of negative comments. Not too many, but I definitely get some weird comments. So I thought it'd be cool to talk about some of that weird stuff tonight, the unusual. The stuff nobody ever talks about. Personal stuff like pooping. I don't poop in a bucket. I'm lucky because I got the trailer. So I actually have like a real bathroom. But some people poop in buckets. Showering. How often do I shower? Not that much. Once a week? Once every 2 weeks? Yeah, you want to see what's distracting? Let's see what it looks like if you look through it. See, that's what I'm seeing. That's weird. Man, I wish I could hear you guys talking. But we got stuff to talk about tonight. I got a whole list here. I'll show you. This is some of the list. I know you guys are going to ask your own questions tonight too. Stinky? Do I smell? Today? Yeah, today was a rough day. You'll see it in like 2 videos coming up. It didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but this lifestyle is awesome. Living as a nomad, like full time in a trailer, traveling. Right now we're kind of stationary in Quartzsite, and you can tell like things are getting a little weird for me out here. Yeah, so I'm going to try not to get lost tonight. You guys send in your questions, send in your comments, but I'm going to try not to look too much unless a good question comes up, like something really weird, really unusual, bizarre. We can talk about the black tank. We can talk about the poop stick that you'll find a lot of times at RV dumps. It's pretty gross. And also, we got a couple moderators tonight. If anybody else wants to be a moderator, shoot, I don't know if I can do that now, but I made a couple people moderators. So if you guys are still there, then see if there's a way you can send me like the top questions or something like that. We'll see how that works. Make things run a little bit smoother. Yeah, I got that Quartzsite fever. Yeah, basically, it's true. Yeah, I've been here a while. Wave? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's Random Spirit. She's waving. Okay, so she's one of the moderators. All right, first I want to start out by telling you guys the creepiest story that's happened in my nomadic life. And while we're getting into these topics, I just want you guys to understand, like, this isn't so much about me, but it is about me, but I want you to think of these things as things that you can apply in your own life, especially if you're going to be traveling, and especially if you want to live nomadically or if you want to do like long-term traveling. As I always say, I do not recommend anybody be a nomad. It's a weird lifestyle. But you know what? You know what's weird to me now is not being a nomad. Like thinking about living in a house or an apartment. Like that seems bizarre to me. But no judgment here. Like I'm sure you guys think that my lifestyle is weird. Some of you think my lifestyle is weird. And I remember when I wasn't living this lifestyle and I'd watch Nomadic Fanatic and be like, whoa, that's a weird way to live. Like you travel all the time in your RV and like you don't know where you're going to spend the night. Sometimes you're sleeping in rest areas and weird places. We are creatures that resist change. And then when you accept a change or you try to do something different, you realize like, oh, this is for me. And, potentially, maybe you don't, but maybe you do. So the creepiest story that happened to me. Okay, let's see. I got to turn off the chat here so I don't get distracted. The creepiest story. This is the creepiest story that happened to me. This was in Utah, and the sun was going down. It was going to be my last night there. And I wanted to hike in this cave. There's this cave that, it's not that intense of a cave, but, it's dark once you go inside. It's pitch black. It was pitch black outside anyways. So I had my headlamp, and I think I had a flashlight too, and that was it. I didn't bring the dogs because I was like, I'm going to do this by myself. I'm going to brave it by myself. So I got to the entrance of this cave, and it was right along one of the main roads that come into the kind of the camping area where people come in and camp. And it's kind of, it's not a sketchy area, but not necessarily the safest place. But you just kind of get a vibe. And it was like, it's kind of, it's a cool, but, it's a little bit, keep a lookout kind of thing. You kind of don't know who's going to come in there because it's kind of easy to get into this place. So I had my flashlight. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go on an adventure. It's like the Goonies, me just all by myself. And I'm going to be the Goonies. I'm going to go into this cave. And just as I'm getting to the entrance of this cave, I'm walking along this kind of ridge with my headlamp on, getting up to the entrance of the cave. And yeah, I didn't have a flashlight. I had a headlamp. So this guy comes. It's a truck, just two headlights coming down the road from a distance, and it was like really out of place because no one had been on that road for hours. Yeah, I don't drink. I mean, I do drink. Like, I don't have a problem with drinking. Like I'm fine. I'll have a beer every once in a while, but Scotty Palmer sent me a super chat a while ago, and he's like, get yourself a 6-pack. So I still have to get that 6-pack. So I really rarely drink. But anyways, so I'm going to this cave, and there's these two headlights coming down the road really slowly. That's what was creepy. It was just like kind of from the distance, slowly, and then stopping. And they're pointed like basically right at me, getting closer and closer. And I'm thinking, because this cave was kind of like an area where people would congregate in the day and they would go through the cave in the daytime, but at nighttime nobody's going through that cave. And so in my head I'm thinking, what if someone's coming in the cave after me, and so I'm going to get in there, and then someone's going to be in the cave after me? So I'm thinking, is that what this truck is doing? Is that why they're driving slower? Are they looking for the entrance to the cave? And so I just kind of stopped there. I had my headlamp on, and the guy, I didn't know it was a guy at first, but just slowly coming down, stopping, and then inching forward, and then stopping. And it just seemed really suspicious, really weird. And all I could see was headlights, so I couldn't tell what kind of vehicle it was or anything like that. And as it got closer, it was just like a little white pickup truck. And the guy rolled down the window, didn't say anything. And I was like, oh, crap. He could be pointing a gun at me right now. That's what I was thinking. Was like, he could be pointing a gun at me. He's just going to shoot me or something. My mind just starts going because I'm already in this mode of like going into this cave all by myself. And he yells out the window. And this is the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing. First he said, which wasn't too weird, he said, hey, are you a friendly? And I was like, hey, yeah, man, I'm just camped out here. It's free to camp wherever you want. And he said, I'm looking for a hideout tonight. That's all. And I couldn't see his face or anything because it's headlights. So all I could think of was shine my light at him to kind of blind him. I don't know if that was a good idea or anything. But he said he was looking for a hideout. And that creeped me the crap out. Is that weird? To say I'm looking for a hideout? And then he drove towards my trailer, which was kind of down the road. And he ended up camping kind of around the corner from where I was camped. I went back to camp because I was like, if he's camping near my dogs, and I want to be like back into my trailer with my dogs kind of thing. So I went back to the trailer, and he had camped kind of around the corner, and I could kind of see where he was setting up and stuff like that. And so then I got, a little protection to carry with me because I wanted to go back into the cave. And then it was really scary because I'm like, he knew where I was hiking, so if he sees me now going back into the cave, he could come up behind me. And now that I'm telling the story, like, I don't think it's coming across to you guys the right way, but to ask or to say, like, I'm looking for a hideout tonight, just the word hideout, it made me think immediately. I thought, oh, he's running from somebody. And I thought, like, oh, he's running from the cops or something. Committed a crime. And he's like, I need a hideout. That's what you need a hideout for, right? Looking back on it, I think he probably was not a normal camper. Wasn't like a nomad, because I've never heard anybody else use the word hideout, except like if you're watching the A-Team or something like that. Anyways, that was the creepiest thing that ever happened to me. And I mean, I was scared. I was really scared. All right. Oh, so someone asked me, Lydia said, why does your dog wear a belt? And I was like, what? Yeah, my dog doesn't wear a belt. But she's talking about Dodger. Dodger wears a brace, and he's in bed right now. He's sleeping, so we're not going to bug him. But he wears a brace on his leg, and because he busted his knee, and the brace helps him with his knee. And I just thought it was funny. She said, why does he wear a belt? Someone said clouds are chemtrails, because I was talking about clouds in one of my videos. And they're like, oh, you should be honest with your viewers and tell them the truth about clouds. They're actually chemtrails. And so yeah, there's, maybe that guy's right, but clouds are, it's condensation. It's not, and when you see planes, that's not chemicals. That's condensation. Yes, most are chemtrails these days. How old is Dodger? Dodger's 17 years old. He's really old, and man, he's doing really good. He has a busted leg. His hearing seems to be getting a little bit better. I've been cleaning his ears with this solution, and his hearing is actually improving. His eyesight is going, but he still has kind of okay eyesight. And he's not like loopy. He's not crazy. So I'm really lucky. Yeah, he's 17 years old. All right, Tina asked, are you Carolyn's ex-husband? If you all have seen Carolyn's RV life, I am lucky to have Dodger for that long. I was just snuggling with him. We were just doing a little game that I just made up with him, and he was playing along. It was really fun. And then he's like, I want to go outside, so I just let him outside. But he's back in here now, and he's sleeping. If you've seen Carolyn's RV life, she's an interesting character, and, sometimes I do kind of recommend her channel because I think for women, like, they may not relate to me as much. I do have a lot of female viewers, which I think is really awesome. But there's a lot of female nomads that are really, really cool. And so I like to recommend those, like Sarah Yak, Tideline to Alpine. Those are two of my favorites. Carolyn's RV Life, she has a really cool RV channel. But she does sometimes say things that are really, they kind of divide people. And, she kind of gets into topics that maybe people don't really want to talk about. They want to see the outdoors and stuff like that. So she does have this side of her channel. And she does, in fact, have a separate channel that, if you watch that channel, man, I think it's meant to make anybody upset, really, in one way or the other. So she's an interesting character, but she has a cool Nomad channel. But no, I'm not her ex-husband. I'm not. I've never met her. I actually never met her. That's from Tina. Chuck said about Quartzsite, he said, that place sucks. Why are you there? Go somewhere nice. And so, Chuck, yeah, this isn't the place for you. And it's not the place for everybody. It's true. It's really not the place for everybody. Quartzsite is its own thing. I was just outside looking back at my trailer. Dodger was out there doing his thing. And looking back at my trailer, and I was like, I do feel like I'm kind of getting sick of Quartzsite, but I wouldn't change a thing about Quartzsite. It's awesome. The dump situation here, it doesn't have the best dump, but it has a dump. And there's good water, and there's a dumpster, and I have been really lucky about finding campsites that are far enough away from people, so I feel like I have a really cool sites. I wouldn't change a thing about Quartzsite. The town is like interesting. It's very quirky. The people, all the people that I run into are really nice. Even the people that like live here in the stores and stuff like that. I stayed at a trailer park before, or an RV park here in Quartzsite. Check out that video that I made. It's a really good video. People really like that video. It's called, the RV park was called Hassler's RV Park. And man, that's quirky. That's a quirky place. So I talked to the locals there, and they're nice people. Some weird people, for sure. Like everybody's a little bit different, a little bit quirky. But it's not like Slab City or something, or go down to the Salton Sea. It can be a little bit sketchy, And Quartzsite can be a little sketchy too, but nothing like that. It's all manageable. And when there's tons of people here, it feels very safe to me. I do hear people talking about like sketchy people walking around in their campsites and stuff like that, but that just means you picked a bad place to camp. Where I'm camped, I feel like, there's some nice rigs. There's people that have money. There's some rundown rigs and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean the people are sketchy. They're super, super nice people. And yeah, out in the open, like you do kind of want to camp out in the open if you can, but meet your neighbors and it's great. So Chuck, I disagree with you. This place doesn't suck. Why am I here? Because I think Quartzsite is awesome. It's relaxing. There's a lot of supplies in town, a lot of hardware, parts and things that you might need for your rig. So that really helps. And everybody in town is familiar with, like, if I go into town looking dirty, or I stink a little bit, or I got stains on my pants, from working outside, or my hands are dirty, or I got dirt on my fingernails or whatever, you fit in. So that's why I'm here. Okay, somebody asked, so you're single. Oh, now this is getting kind of personal, but I know you guys kind of want to get personal sometimes, so I'll do this one for you. And how do you pay your bills without a job? Yeah, that's not necessarily a weird question, but it's not a bad question. So you're single. Don't you miss having a woman around? No, I don't. What I see is a lot of bickering. And, it depends on what kind of relationship you develop. But what I've noticed is I feel like it's hard to be in a relationship for a long time and not end up sort of in a bickering situation. Luckily, that hasn't really happened to me in my life, but I see that a lot in this lifestyle. And there's no wonder, because if you're living in a van with, like, your husband or your boyfriend or whatever. I was in Seattle, Lori. That's where I lived, in Seattle. If you're in a van and you're living with another person, like, you're going to bicker. Like, I live with 2 dogs, and, we don't bicker. We're partners. Like, they work with me, I work with them. We support each other, and we have a lot of fun together. So no, actually, I don't miss that. I don't miss it. Sometimes, like, I do kind of want to hang out with people a little bit. And in Quartzsite's a great place to do it. There's a huge party happening the other night, and I was like, should I go over there and just see what's going on? I probably could have met some people or whatever. So there's opportunities. There's opportunities in town. There's little meetups and parties. There's YouTuber meetups. So there's plenty of opportunities to meet people. And in fact, Quartzsite is known as the meeting place. So as far as, like, if you want to hang out with people, there's plenty of opportunities to do that. And when you meet other nomads, it's pretty cool because you have a lot in common. Oh, I want to talk about this, which is a weird thing that happened to me. And you guys saw this in my video. It was a really good video. It did really well for the channel. I got a lot of subscribers on it. And that's what I'm always going for, is trying to get subscribers. Some of our videos get a lot of views, but I really want subscribers. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, and you'll be notified of all of our videos. And when you go to your homepage, then our videos will pop up for you. Or you go to your subscriber page on YouTube, our videos will pop up. I try to pump out a lot of videos. A lot of times I do 3 videos a week. Right now I'm doing about 1 or 2 videos a week. But generally it's a lot. So it's kind of a lot to keep up with. And if you subscribe, it's totally free, then that does help out the channel. Also, hit that like button, you guys. We only got 20 likes right now. We got like 80 viewers right now. So let's try and get that like button up to 80 at least. Is Quartzsite full at this time? I just drove out of here yesterday to get supplies, and I was like, whoa, it's really sparse. But if you come here, it's like, it looks packed. But compared to what it was a few weeks ago, it's probably about almost, I want to say half. At least a third of the people, I'd say, have left. But I mean, there's tons of people out here. There's tons of people. I have this thing I do where I stand outside of my rig and I count whatever number of rigs I can count. And then that tells me, like, kind of an idea of, like, how many people are camped out here. So right now the number is 31. But I remember last year when I left, I think it was down to like 7 or 8, what I could see from my rig in one position. I mark a spot in the ground and I always stand there and do my count of all the rigs I can see. That's kind of weird. I also came up with a rock game, because that's all that's out here is rocks. So you're like, oh, throw a rock here. And I found a golf ball. And it's like, oh, yeah, if you hit the golf ball out of the ring, then you get 5 points and stuff like that. That's weird. That's really weird. I was going to do a video about that. You should probably be thankful that I didn't do that. Do we know this cat's name yet? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. We talked about that before in a live video. I still think I'm at the point where it's not important that you guys know my name. You just imagine whatever name you want. I'm the Got Out guy. This is the Got Out channel. You guys know Mr. Echo and Dodger. It's just a name. And I guess for me, it's like I just think Chris James. He's like, I know your name, Thornelius. It's just kind of fun for me. It's just I just feel like, I've met some people out here, and I always get the people could be like, "Hey, it's Got Out, it's the Got Out guy," and a lot of times I'll remember, I'll tell them my real name in person, but then after I meet them, I think like, oh, like the 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 magic is gone, the mystery is gone. So I'm just trying to keep that mystery alive, and that's one of the weird things about my channel, I guess. But I'm here. You guys can talk to me whenever you want. And if you go to my Patreon page, we have a Patreon that helps us out a lot. There's free memberships on there, but there's a $5 membership where you pay $5 every month, and then you can ask me questions and stuff like that on there. And I post videos on there. I think I got over 50 videos up there on the Patreon page. So if you go to patreon.com/gotout, then you'll see our Patreon there, and you can get a free membership. You can see some of the videos and some of the photos for free. But if you want all of them, then it's $5 a month. That helps us out so much. I'm getting new tires for the truck soon, and Patreon has really helped with that. So thanks to all of our Patreon members. Thank you. All right. So I wanted to talk about, when I hit the dog. Did you guys see when I hit the dog and what happened? And I talked to that lady. I'm going to put up the full video actually on my Patreon when I talked to the lady, because I cut some of the footage out. Yeah, why do you guys want to know if I'm Italian or not? Yeah, I think I'm part Italian. It's so weird to me when people want to know, like, where are you from? And I don't know. It's like I'm so into, like, I'm here right now. This is my life right now. And when I make my videos, a lot of times, especially when we're out hiking, a lot of times I just kind of forget to say, like, where we are or what state we're in, or where we're camped, because I'm just in the moment. I'm trying to be in the moment, and I'm living in the moment. This is where I am right now. This is what you see right now. This is who I am. This is how I live. And I don't know, that's just how I think. So a lot of times I forget to, like, give some of the details that maybe you do want to know. So when I hit the dog, that was creepy. That was horrible. That was freaking horrible. The only solace that I have is that I did see the dog limp away. He had his one leg up, and that's pretty much all I hit. I didn't run over him, but I hit him. I was going probably 25 or 30 miles an hour. I had slowed down for another dog, and I kind of had swerve, missed that one. I'm like, oh, thank God I missed that dog. And then the other dog came right out, and bam, I hit it with the tire. If you guys haven't seen that video, you might want to watch it, because there's some, I don't know, it's kind of, that was intense. That was the most intense thing, the thing that I wish never happened so far in my nomadic life. But I mean, that happens, right? If you're driving, there's not much you can do. When you're towing a trailer, your stopping speed is really affected. So that's kind of the only difference. But people do hit dogs. The huge rattlesnake video is your fave. Oh, Thornelius, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a really weird experience. An outhouse, like an old beat up outhouse on the Salton Sea with a huge rattlesnake in it. I was just thinking about that video the other day, because I know there's a lot of new subscribers. We just passed 7,000 subscribers, by the way, and that's so freaking awesome. That makes me so happy. But I know a lot of subscribers that have not seen about reposting that video so people could see it. I'm glad you've seen it, Thornelius. Yeah, that was creepy. And what happened was Dodger found that rattlesnake. He was just sniffing around, and he was kind of like behind me. He was just doing his thing on the beach. We're on the beach at the Salton Sea, and there's kind of like grasses there and things like that. But I didn't even think about rattlesnakes wanting to be near the beach. And now I know. You just learn stuff in this lifestyle. And so from behind, I just hear this psh, like that. It was like a hissing, I thought it was a gas line. And so I yelled at him immediately. I said, Dodger, get out of there. And I thought, for whatever reason, there's a gas line going off. But it was a huge rattlesnake in this old busted up outhouse. So it was having this like reverberation effect. And so it sounded just like crazy. And then you'll see all the footage in that video. And I think I put some extra footage too on my Patreon page of it. But it was huge. And it was all geared up and ready to strike. And luckily, the dogs listened to me. They backed away right away, and that's the closest that they ever came to getting bit. Dodger found it, and then Echo kind of walked close and was like, "What is Dodger looking at?" Okay, Dave Holte asked. I'm just kind of remembering some of these questions as I read them right now. Dave Holte said, "Why are you so judgmental with a choice about an area camper location? He chose the wash." So a video I did, this guy camped in the wash, and I was saying like that's not a good idea. And so he's saying, this guy Dave is saying, Atoll, but yeah, you don't want to camp in washes. I think technically you're not even allowed to, but it's dangerous because if there is a flash flood, then you're gonna get flooded out of there, and you could drown, or your rig could get washed away, things like that. But also you get stuck, especially if you have, like, he had a shuttle bus, and it's like you do not take a shuttle bus through the wash unless you've seen other people go through there, because people will take their 4x4 rigs through the washes sometimes, and Jeeps and ATVs can handle that. Side by sides and stuff like that can handle it. So I wasn't being judgmental. I was being honest. Like, it's a bad idea to camp in washes. And I wasn't trying to critique him like in a negative way. In fact, I ended up going over there, offering, because you meet these nomads, and he was like kind of a gritty nomad. A lot of people have like these big old nomad beards, which may happen to me someday. But you could tell he was like, kind of his own person. I was like, I offered my help, and I was like, hey man, I don't want to bother you, but I'll help you if you need any help. So I brought him some boards to help with his getting his rig out. And the next day he did get out, but he was just sitting there with a shovel. He wasn't grumpy or upset or anything, which I think is really cool. The video stream is a little glitchy. Thank you, Random Spirit. I appreciate that. There's not much I can do about that. It really should be good. It really should be good. That's all I can say. It should improve in a second. I'm hoping it improves. If it doesn't, then I can move. I can sit right next to Echo. Remember last time I did that in our live, and I sat on him and he yelped, and it scared the crap out of me. Does it look better now? It should look better. Does it look better? I want it to look good, because I know you won't watch if it's like crappy, especially if you can't hear me. It's no fun. Thanks, Random Spirit. I appreciate that. All right, so Jay Chamberlain said, "Is that a shocker collar? Not cool, bud." He's talking about Mr. Echo. Mr. Echo has not a shocker, although I did think about getting one for him. I haven't done it yet because he's been really good. But what I got for him was a tracker. Oh, you can't see it now. He's all curled up over there. But he has a tracker on his collar. So some people do think like, oh, is that a shocker? But all it does is it tracks him with the GPS. And that thing is awesome. Like the first thing he's chased out here. My hair. That's how. He says, I've noticed you've even done some skilled haircuts that aren't easy. My hair, what I do is I had to learn how to cut my hair. And there's a video we did, one of our early videos, probably like season 2. I did a Nomad haircut. It was the first haircut I did, because if you watch some of our first videos, I had really long hair. And I loved having long hair. I love it. But then I didn't love it anymore. Because it would be hot. And it would get dirty. And I was always putting it up in a ponytail. And I was like, if I'm wearing my hair in a ponytail so much, I should just shave it off. So ever since then, I just pretty much just shave it, keep it a little long on the top, whatever. But I watched some YouTube videos, and then I practice and just do it like that. But I would never live in this lifestyle. Like I just, a lot of times I don't go into stores. I just kind of get bad vibes, and I'm like, I would never go. And plus I got dogs, so it's kind of hard sometimes. Like I got to leave them in the trailer, leave them in the truck. But so getting a haircut, like doing it on my own, that saves me a lot of time, saves me money, and I can stay with my dogs. I don't have to worry about the dogs. So it works out great. I can cut my hair wherever I want, in the woods, whenever I want. Shannon again asked, Why does Echo have 2 collars? Okay, he has 1 collar because it's really sturdy. I think it's called a bully collar or something like that. It's really sturdy. It doesn't have spikes on it or anything. It's just a fabric, but it's built really, really well. Super strong, because he's massively strong. But it doesn't have any reflective material on it. So I have this other little collar on him, and you'll see it in our videos. It has a reflective strip on it, and it's very reflective. So that way he has 2 collars, and he has 2 tags with a phone number, basically, or address, phone number, whatever, information to contact me if he gets lost. So if one collar falls off, which actually the bully collar should never fall off now that I think about it. Oh, but if the tags fall off, then he has another collar with a tag on it. So we're good. This is random, but I bought a Costco membership because of me. Oh, that's really weird. I had to try the pizza. I liked it, but the crowds are kind of intense. Okay. Yeah, when you wait in line for an alias, it's this crazy thing. You got to learn like how to do it. So I'll give you some tips. Costco pizza. It's $10. I think there's some states where you go and it'll be $10.99, but usually it's $9.99. It's a huge pizza, great cheese, great sauce, great crust. And any Costco you go, it's very consistent. Only one time I think there was a little bit less sauce, and I was like, that's not consistent. But you can go any Costco, you get a very consistent pizza. It's very cool. $10. $10. That's a good deal. It's probably $8 worth of cheese that that you get. And I just get the cheese pizza, but you can get pepperoni. I think those are the only 2 kinds you can get. I've been thinking about getting the pepperoni. I don't eat meat, so but I was thinking I could get the pepperoni and give the pepperoni to the dogs. So I might do that sometime. Okay, so tips for Costco pizza. This is weird. It's a little weird. Costco pizza. Okay, first thing is call it in. So in the parking lot, call it in. Go do your shopping. Then by the time you check out, your pizza's ready. Because if you go wait in line for a whole pizza, then you're gonna have to wait basically, 20 minutes for them to cook the pizza usually. So you call it in. That's what I always do. I sit in here in the trailer, call it in. I'm like, I'd like 1 large pizza, please. Then they tell me when it's going to be done. Then I know how long I have to shop, get my groceries, and I'm always, I can shop for as long as I want. I don't care. If they say it'll be ready in 30 minutes, then if I have to shop for an hour, then it's fine. So it sits there for 30 minutes, and that's no big deal. When you go pay, then you have to go to the kiosk. You pay through the kiosk. You get a receipt, and sometimes they'll call your number right away because they figure it out. Like you tell them it's a phone order when you do the kiosk, but sometimes they don't call your number. So if they don't call your number as soon as you have that receipt, give them about a minute. If they don't call your number, then go up to the counter and show them your receipt. They usually have a pizza pickup window. Show them your receipt, and they'll be like, "What was your name on the order?" And I always use Dodger as my as my name, as I say Dodger, and they go, "Oh yeah, it's right here." And then you got your pizza, and then ask for Parmesan, and then they'll always say, "Do you want plates and forks with that too?" So you say no to that, but yes, Parmesan, please. Sometimes they'll let you grab as much Parmesan as you want. Sometimes they'll be sitting there on the counter, and that's a Nomad tip. Grab all the Parmesan you can, because then you got Parmesan in your rig, free Parmesan. Those are good tips. Get that pizza, yeah. Well, that's cool that you got a Costco membership because of me. But most people should have a Costco membership. The food there is great. They have great deals on stuff. The clothing is kind of so-so, but it's usually cheap enough, that it works for me. Somebody on my channel suggested I get the mini peppers, and those things are really good. So I've been buying those now whenever I go to Costco. Let's see. Rocks Falk, that's the name I wrote down, said, "Where are your gloves? Nasty." That's when I was doing a video where I was showing how I dump my tanks. And usually I don't wear gloves. And honestly, that's because my dad he's always like, "Oh, you don't need to wear gloves." And he doesn't wear gloves whenever he dumps the tanks. But I do have a box of vinyl gloves. So now generally I do wear gloves. It's just a little weird because it's like you have the glove on, you touch all this crap, and you have to come back in the trailer, so you're touching doorknobs and stuff anyways. But it does feel nice when you take the glove off because like, I didn't have any crap or any weird stuff on my hands. There's weird stuff. There's corn. You'll find corn at the dumps a lot. You'll find corn. That's weird. What's your scariest nature experience? Oh, this is from Anna. Now, oh yeah, go to Anna's channel if you want to see a female nomad, how she lives, and she's a little weird. She's very funny. Oh, she cracks me up actually. She has a really good sense of humor. It's very subtle sense of humor. She has the sometimes she'll be the weather lady and she'll talk about the weather, and that's pretty funny. So check out Anna's Adventures. Just go into YouTube, type Anna's Adventures, ANAS Adventures. She asked, "What's my scariest nature experience?" Okay, by far that was the mountain lion, and I was swimming in a river in Washington State, in eastern Washington, with a friend, and I was just kind of there was a little embankment behind me about this high, just swimming down there, and two baby deer come jumping off of that little ledge right up here over my head into the river right in front of me. I'm like, what the heck? Why are two baby deer jumping across this river? And you think, oh, they seem scared, but they're probably just scared of me. But you start looking around, and you're like, oh, they were really running. And there's no mama deer around, just these two little babies. And then, oh yeah, is that a deer across the river? And when I say river, like, I mean, it was probably 30 feet wide, something like that. And it's not a deep river. It's probably like 2 feet, 3 feet deep at the deepest. And a mountain lion is almost the same color as a deer. Well, it's basically the same color as a deer. And it was huge. It had the black tip on its tail, the black tips on its ears. It was humongous. And it comes kind of just slowly, which I was surprised. It was like very like in a stalking behavior, just right across the river. So it's like 30, 40 feet away from me. It's probably 40 feet away from me. And I told my friend, I was like, that's a mountain lion right over there. And he looks at me, he's like, no, it's not. It's a deer. And then its head comes kind of up out of the grass and it looks right at us, right at me. I'm like, holy crap. And it wasn't just like a like a bobcat or like, a decent sized mountain lion. It was a full grown mountain lion. Huge, the biggest mountain lion you could imagine. Right there looking at me. It's looking at me. Luckily I had there was like a raft. And it's in hunting mode. I had a raft, like a blow up yellow raft. So that's what I thought in my head was like, if that thing comes at me, I'm just gonna pull this raft up and I'm gonna look like not food, not something you want to attack, and something huge, something big and weird that it doesn't want to jump at. So that's all I could think of to do. I didn't have any weapons or anything like that. And I'm all wet and stuff like that. All I had was a raft. So I did feel a little bit safe in the sense like, I'll put this raft up and it shouldn't attack the raft, right? And I was thinking the scary thing was like, it's in hunting mode. I've seen bears before and they kind of look at you, and if you make a noise, you clap your hands, make some big motions, they'll usually run away. There was one time a bear didn't run away, and that creeped me out. But if they're not in hunting mode, it's, the animal it's kind of doing its thing. It's like, oh, I'm not going to just attack something for no reason. But this thing was chasing those baby deer, so it was ready to eat. So that creeped me out. So it just kind of jaunted away, looked at me a couple times, and it just kept, just real slow though, like in that stalking motion. And it was not afraid of me. It did not say like, it wasn't like, oh, I got to run because it's a human. It wasn't afraid of me. It was huge. It was, oh man. If that thing attacks you, you're dead. So Anna also asked, do you believe in Bigfoot? And this is a question I do get a lot. Also UFOs. I have seen UFOs, but I know they're not aliens, but they do creep me out. Bigfoot, though, I'm not afraid of Bigfoot. I don't think Bigfoot exists. When I'm hiking around in the middle of the night, I don't get scared about Bigfoot. I do think about ghosts and goblins and demons and stuff like that. That's what freaks me out. I don't believe in those things either, but Bigfoot bothers me because Bigfoot is not real. What Bigfoot is bears. That's it. That's all they are. In fact, Joe Rogan was just talking about this on one of his podcasts the other night. But this is a concept that I had come up with. I was like, well, people do say they find big footprints that look kind of human-like. And, okay. and they see a hairy beast that's standing up on 2 feet with big teeth and like scary and claws and like big, just big and hairy and tall, like taller than a human, right? That's why it's Bigfoot. It has big, huge feet. So you start thinking, well, if there's nothing that lives in the woods that has any of those features, then that is really strange that people are saying they see these things with all these features in common. But you come to realize, like, oh, well, bears have big feet. And I'm just talking about black bears, too. I mean, grizzly bears are huge, they're even bigger. So you go up into Alaska and I think in Montana and Wyoming, I think they have grizzlies as well. Then, yeah, I mean, that's where, I mean, they're going to be, I mean, they're huge. But black bears, when they stand on their feet, they're gigantic. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I would say they can get to 8 feet, maybe 9 or 10 feet tall on their hind legs. And if they put their arms up, then if they're reaching for something, they're going to be even taller. So you got something that has huge hands, hairy, scary, makes weird noises. They'll do grunts and whines. They make all kinds of noises. And if you look at the bottom of a black bear's foot, they do have claws, but their pads on their feet look just like a freaking human's foot. So if you put all that stuff together, that's what Bigfoot is. So people are seeing bears standing up on their hind legs, and you think, well, bears walk around on their all fours, and they do, but they also a lot of the times they do get up on their back legs, whether it's to climb a tree or to scratch a tree or to get something or just to like look around. A lot of times that's what they're doing, and they'll walk around like that. So if you see something through branches that has big feet, makes weird noises, and has claws and scary, but it's through the trees, especially if the lighting is kind of weird, you might think it's a Bigfoot, but it's not. It's a bear. It's literally a bear. So Bigfoot does not exist. Bigfoot doesn't exist, but bears do. And you think about it, like, how many times have you ever heard somebody say, I saw a bear walking on its hind legs in the woods? Like, you never hear that. You hear people say, I saw Bigfoot. But that's not what it is. You've seen bears walking on their hind legs. So, Anna, no, I don't believe in Bigfoot. It's Jojo asked, how long is your trailer? And I thought for a while, does she mean my trailer? I'm assuming it's a she. I don't know if it's a she. It's Jojo. But my trailer is 20 feet. It's a 20-foot long trailer. And I dig it. It's a perfect size for me and 2 dogs. I sometimes I think like, oh, could we get by in an 18-foot trailer? But having that extra 2 feet is great. Some trailers have slide outs, and that makes the width even wider. You can get a foot or two or more if you have a couple slide outs. And I'm really glad that I don't have slide outs because I like to keep things simple. I don't have to bring the slide outs in or out. When I camp somewhere, and then when I leave, I have to bring them back in. The motors can break. A lot of times I'll have a crank, but then you have to deal with. They'll have little mini awnings, so you have to manage those, and like you don't want leaves to get on them. You could hit your head on them. You could smash them because you forget they're there, or you forget to pull them in. But they do add more room. But I'm really happy just having kind of a nice sized trailer. It feels like a little studio apartment in here, and I freaking dig it. It's 20 foot is a good size for me. Okay, you guys, what are your weirdest questions? What are your super weird questions? You want to talk about the poop stick, or do you have a weird question for me? And also want to remind you guys, hey, thanks for hitting that like button. We didn't get up to 80 likes, but we got up to 60 likes. So if you haven't hit that like button, then hit it right now. Help us out. And hit the subscribe button. And don't forget, if you guys want to see like behind the scenes videos, because I have a lot of behind the scenes videos. Like I was saying, I got over 50 videos up on our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/gotout. There's links to it on our channel page as well. And that helps us out. That helps support us. We do get a little bit of AdSense money from the ads that you see when our videos pop up. The ads that pop up when you watch our videos. But it's like half a penny a viewer. So to give you an idea, it's not that much money, but that does help. But if you go to our Patreon, then that helps us out a lot as well. So what are your weird questions, you guys? I know you have a lot. What's the lowest budget nomad I've met or heard of? That's from Random Spirit. Is that your question, Random, or are you giving me somebody else's question? I wonder. What's the lowest budget nomad I've met or heard of? Well, you might be looking at him right now. You might be. You might be. When I go to the grocery store, here's what I was doing at the grocery store. And I would go to Walmart because you can get great deals at Walmart. And the Great Value brand, which is like the store brand, it's usually pretty freaking good. If you ever watch Good Mythical Morning on YouTube, they'll rate food products a lot of the times. And the Great Value brand from Walmart, they're almost always, they're like, oh, that was really good. But I would spend about 80 bucks twice a month for groceries. And that was it. That was, a year or two ago. And prices have gone up since then, so I do spend a little bit more. And when I go to Costco, I'll usually spend about probably over 100 bucks, probably like 120, something around there, 150 bucks, something like that. But I'm pretty low budget. I don't move a lot when I camp. A lot of times I'll stay for a week or two, so I don't drive a whole lot. I put on maybe, what is it? I think it was 6,000 miles last year, and I go all the way up, north, and then all the way down south, and there's kind of a little loop that I do. And so I'm not making a lot of side trips. I'm trying to kind of save gas in that sense. Like, I do want to travel, I do want to see these places and stuff, but I try not to veer too far. I try to save money. So I'm pretty low budget. If you ever watch Bob Wells, like, he'll do these videos, he'll be like Nomad tour, and he'll say, this nomad lives off of $1,000 a month, and I'm like, huh? I wish, I wish I was spending $1,000 a month, because that would be nice, but I spend less than that. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Yeah. I'm probably, that's kind of, it's interesting to think about some of those things. You guys got me thinking. Thanks, Random Spirit, for your question. That's really awesome. Lisanne says, what's the longest you've gone without face-to-face human interaction? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but without face-to-face, I mean, when I go do grocery pickup at Walmart, then the person who brings it out, like, I say hi to them and stuff, and it is cool. Like, I find myself being more friendly to, like, or more like, like, I smile more, like, I'm more interested, because the people that I bump into, it's pretty rare. How long have I gone without face-to-face interaction? Well, that would mean technically it'll only be about 2 weeks, because I run out of groceries after a couple weeks, and then I got to go to the grocery store again. So I see the person bringing my groceries out. And I do meet, I do hang out with friends now and then, family members now and then. So I do see people occasionally, every couple months kind of thing. It's just not something that people are different, and it's not something that I have dogs too. I was watching Alone in Australia on Netflix. That's the show I'm into right now. And the people are, like, going away from their families to live on in Australia. They're living on Tasmanian Island. Is it called Tasmania Island? Tasmania. It's an island for however many days. And these people are there for like a week, and they're like, I miss my family, I miss my friends, I need face-to-face contact. And I'm like, what? It's been a week. Like, you can't be alone for a week? And then some people go like 3 weeks or a month, and they're like, I can't do this anymore. And for me, I'm like, that wouldn't be, I mean, I would miss people. I would miss people, but I'd be thinking, I'm going to win $250,000 here if I just stick this out. Like, I'm worried about food and water and shelter. Like, my family's fine, my friends are fine, everybody's fine. I should be thinking about myself and winning this money and bringing that back to my family and friends. So it's just, everybody's different. Like, we're having some face-to-face contact right now, I guess. Okay, what's your weird question? I want to see, like, a weird question. Ask me about UFOs, or ask me about the poop stick. Yeah, I haven't seen any bear cubs, actually. I've I've never run into bear cubs, which is a good thing. But I have definitely seen several bears and been, you know, fairly close to them. Black bears. Do I ever travel or caravan with anyone else? That's not weird enough. What's the nastiest food you've eaten as a nomad? Probably the last few days. Why didn't I go? Oh, because I'm planning to go get tires. And when I go get tires, it's going to be near a Walmart. So I'm kind of holding off going grocery shopping because I'm like, I want to wait to go to Walmart because there's no Walmart in Quartzsite. You got to drive 45 miles north or 80 miles south to get to a Walmart. So I do what it's called scrounging. And then I always have food in the trailer. But some of it, you know, is not that great. It's like I got a can of beans, but I don't have any tortillas or chips or salsa or anything. So it's like, what do you do with that? Well, I can eat a can of beans, but it's like, you know. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few days. I did go into town the other day and got a few bits of food that's been helping. Oh, I got some pizza right now. Actually, you guys interrupted my dinner with this live stream because look at what I got here. I made myself English muffin pizzas because I didn't have any bread, but I got some English muffins at the discount store, the discount grocery store. You get 5 loaves of bread or English muffins or hot dog buns or whatever. You get 3 of them for $5, and they're out of date. And so you just check the date, make sure it's not too far out of date, look for mold and stuff like that. Then throw it in the freezer and you can keep it for a long time. That's what I did. So it's not nasty food that I've been eating, but kind of unappetizing. You just kind of throw some stuff together. I had some weird rice and some canned corn, and it's like, I'll just do this and then top ramen, you know. Luckily, I have cans of tuna, so I can throw some tuna in the top ramen. But, you know, it's not, I don't eat really nasty food, luckily. But I had some top ramen the other day. It was so hot. It was the hottest thing I ever had in my life. And I was sweating. I was like, oh, but I was like, I couldn't stop. I was like, do it, do it. It was like extreme. It was so hot. Oh, man. Do I have a UFO story? I do. Sundancer wants to know my sign. Now that is weird. That's another thing I got to say about Anna's Adventures channel. I don't know if she's in here tonight, but Anna's Adventure, she was talking to a psychic. And that's something I do not believe in at all. I do not believe in psychics. So you want to talk about my sign? I mean, I'm a Capricorn, but that's meaningless to me. The one thing that's weird is like when I was a kid, I was like, Saturn's my favorite planet. And then I looked up Capricorn. It's like, Saturn is your planet. I was like, whoa, there might be something to this. But I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in psychics. I don't believe in your star sign or whatever. I don't believe in UFOs. But Norman Simonson, yes, I have seen a UFO. And it creeped me out. I did a video on it. I kind of recreated the scene because I did record it, but it didn't turn out. The footage didn't turn out. But I went back to the location where I saw the UFO and tried to piece it together and tried to make sense of it because there was a power line. So I thought maybe it was a power line, like there's some electric bolt going through the line. But what I saw was a cruise ship in the sky and just the lights from the windows from like the portholes in the sky going just slowly across the sky. And I was like, what the heck is that? It was creeping me out. And I thought of aliens. I was like simpatico with all the people that have seen UFOs. And I was like, I get it now. I totally get it. It freaks you out. And it's like something that no one will understand. No one will believe me. And that's what I thought. But I made a video about it. And then someone said, dude, you know what you saw? You saw Starlink. And that's what it was. I saw Starlink. And if you look at Starlink satellites, go on YouTube and there's footage of it. That's exactly what I saw. And it looks very weird because it's a string of satellites and they're reflecting, I guess it could be from the moon or the sun. You know, the sun hits the moon and then reflects onto the satellites, or the sun directly reflects off of the satellites, and that's what you're seeing. And it makes sense because I saw them and they were lit up and they were kind of like shifting a little bit, and then they all just kind of faded out like that. I was like, oh my God. So that's just simply the reflection and the angle changing. and then the reflection is gone and you can't see them anymore. It's black as night, in the sky. That's my UFO story, and that creeped me out. So anytime anybody tells me about their UFO story now, then I can relate to the feeling of it. But even as it was happening, I was like, I knew it was not aliens, but I felt like it was. So emotionally, I was thinking aliens, aliens, aliens. That's all it could be. It's aliens. There's a ship in the sky. But logically, at the same time, I was like, it's not aliens. I know it's not aliens. There's an explanation to this. That's just, that's how I think. You saw a UFO, but you don't believe in them. Typical Capricorn. Blair M. Hey, Blair M. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for the super chat. That's really, really cool. Thanks for the video. Good luck with the new tires. Oh, Blair, thank you so much. I'll tell you what. Okay, that money is going to go directly to my gas to get down there because it's like 80 miles, so it's 160 miles round trip. The dogs are going to come with me. I'm going to make a video of that. That'll be kind of an interesting video to see how that goes because I got to deal with the dogs the whole way down there, and then while they put on the tires, and then picking up groceries down there. But I'll use that for the gas money to get down there. So Blair, thanks. I wish you would have asked a weird question, Blair, because I would be obligated to answer it no matter what it was. So if you can think of one, then please let me know. All right, you guys got any more really weird questions? If you have like a really weird question, I'll put the glasses on again. It's got to be weird though. It's Jersey drones. Yeah, I was looking outside today. I was like, is that a drone? So you just had a birthday. Okay, now you guys know too much, right? Like, I'm a Capricorn, so you know all about me. Scotty P says, what inspired you to not worry about working a full-time job and preparing to be comfortable for retirement, but instead hit the road and live this life? Okay, I'm not retired. When I lived in Seattle, I had a really cool job. I was working. I've for as long as I can remember, I worked for myself. I'm kind of an entrepreneur. Like I come up with little businesses and I work them for years, and then something changes, and then I move on and do something else. And that's always been awesome for me because I always have all the free time I want. I can do stuff with my dogs and things when I want. My life is my own, but I'm running a business, so I have to kind of be serious about things and take care of business at the same time. But that was a really good lifestyle for me. When I decided to live on the road, I thought I could sort of take some of that knowledge and kind of do the same things I was doing, selling products on Amazon. That's what I was doing before in Seattle. But I couldn't figure out a way to manage the inventory systems, and it was just too stressful to manage all that. So that kind of didn't work out. But this lifestyle, I love it so much, and this suits me. It suits the dogs. I mean, the dogs they love it. They could have a lot of activity. I'm constantly inspired, and the people that I do run into, which is kind of rare, are super cool and different than the people you run into in the cities and towns and stuff like that, because they're very they're focused on other things. They got mortgages, they got a lot of bills and stuff like that. So this lifestyle, you don't have as many bills. You obviously don't have a mortgage, things like that. So it affords a lot of freedom in that sense and kind of frees your mind. Man, today though, I didn't even tell you guys this. I was so grumpy. You guys are getting me in a good mood. It wasn't a bad day. It was actually a fine day, but I was just in a mood. And I was trying to shoot a video and while I was working on my solar panels, and it did not go the way I wanted it to today. And it probably doesn't come off in the video that you'll see coming out, but I did a Patreon video that's going to come out in a couple of days where I was talking about how grumpy I was. So you do get in a mood, but it's been a long time. I mean, years. Besides when the couple times I've been sick, because I get grumpy when I'm sick sometimes. But other than that, I can't think of the last time I was like in a bad mood. But today was like, I was glad nobody was around because I was not in a good mood. I was just really upset, just really grumpy, like negative, basically. Negative. Yeah, just negative. Yeah. Okay, nobody's asked me about the poop stick, and I don't blame you because it's really gross. We'll have to talk about that some other time. It's been really cool, you guys. It's been weird. It's been pretty weird. Check out our Patreon, please, if you want to support us or see behind the scenes videos. I know a lot of you guys want to see some of the behind the scenes stuff, and you can ask me questions in there. Do I intend to live the rest of my life as a nomad? Actually, Benjamin, that's not a weird question, but I'll answer it. If so, are you going to be buried in your rig? All right, that's weird. Okay. No, I'm not going to be buried in my rig. What are you talking about? I don't know what's going to happen to my body when I'm dead, but do I intend to live the rest of my life as a nomad? I mean, things change and stuff, but so I'm not committing to anything, but I think about that sometimes. I was thinking about that today, and yeah, absolutely. Like, I can't imagine living any other way. When I lived in Seattle, I was happy there. Seattle was awesome at the time when I was there. Things started to change. People started to get kind of literally aggressive, mean, and weird. And you would try to talk to them about things and ideas. And whoa, you don't want to do that with, a lot of people in certain areas, like, are not as open minded as I thought they were. And I'm not trying to judge, but that was just my experience. Now, there's places you can go where, like here in Quartzsite, people are totally cool. But what I want to get a house in Quartzsite or an apartment in Flagstaff. Flagstaff is an awesome place. If I had to, then I would live like in Flagstaff or something. But that seems weird to me. Like, it's just not for me. And like I said, maybe that'll change. But yeah, right now, I love this lifestyle. And it's so much more than just loving the lifestyle. It's like, this feels comfortable. I feel so comfortable. And being in nature for me, being able to just literally walk right out this door, and every week or two, it's like a different location in nature it's like, what? How could you give that up? That's how I feel about myself. I'm not saying anybody, I'm not trying to convince anybody else. I'm just saying that's how I feel. You Sometimes you're camped in places and you see these sunsets or these mountains or landscapes or animals come by, and if you had a house, you might see that every once in a while, but every time you look out the window, it's basically the same thing. And you could have a super awesome view, but every day it's that same view. And this lifestyle affords you that kind of thing, but also a lot of other things. And other people will be into different things. Like they like, people might like the weather, or they want to move more and more, or certain areas. You can do so much in this lifestyle. You can get, and now that we have technology, like, look at the technology right now. Like, I'm in the middle of the desert, and I'm spreading, my crazy weird thoughts and ideas and experiences with you guys. It's like we have this ability now to stay connected and to share and to do things. Like, you can work. A lot of people work from their rigs, and I do too. Like, I'm always trying to figure out ways to to sustain myself, but it's happening. Like, we are surviving, and it's it's so worth it. It's so worth it for me. Again, I'm not. I hate the idea of like I'm trying to convince people. Like, I forget who that was. I think it was Thornelius said that they got a Costco membership because I did. That's great. Like, that's fine. But I would. It would be weird for me if somebody said, like, I attempted to live as a nomad because I saw your video. It's like, that's not really what I want you to do. But if you make the decision for yourself, then you can use my video and other nomads videos, the ideas you get from them, for yourself. But man, I'm not trying to convince anybody for to do this full time, to live like this full time. You are inspirational to me. This is from Lily. I used to live in Seattle too. It's a beautiful city as far as cities go. Awesome area up there for sure. Yeah, I love Seattle. I lived there for years. I mean, I want to say 20 years. I could think about exactly the number of years, but actually it's probably longer than that. The moon is about to go into Capricorn in a few days. All right, you guys are talking about stuff that I don't believe in. To me, your lifestyle gives one more room to breathe. Yeah, I mean, I always talk about like how I'm dirty and smelly, and there's things that people won't like about this lifestyle. It can be scary. I mean, if you're a woman, it's probably feels different. There's a lot of women that live this lifestyle though, and some of them are super super inspirational. Watch Tideline to Alpine, like she's a great one to watch, and she has an old dog too, and what she does for that dog is, I mean, it makes me cry. It's like so cool. But if things are important to you, like a shower, then you can set up your system to have a shower, to have the right kind of water, the right amount of water, and some sort of water heater system if you want hot water, a disposal system, a way to get rid of the water. If those things are important to you, you can set those up. Obviously I have a shower here. It's just I know, what I have to do with the water and how much water I have in my rig. Tonight I think I'm going to take a shower because I got kind of nasty today working on the solar panels. But what's cool about this lifestyle is you can make things that are important to you happen, as far as like where you want to camp, what kind of, if you want to have a cat or a dog live with you, or if you want to live with somebody or not, if you want to camp with people, move around with people, if you want certain types of gear, there's certain things you like, if you can make that all happen. Okay, Anna's on here now. Let's see what her question is in a second. If you were to have a girlfriend, I'm just reading these questions, like I'm not pre-reading them, by the way. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do a speed round here, and then we're gonna call it a night, you guys. I'm looking for weird questions, but I'll just do some questions here. Are you running this webcast with your generator running now or from batteries? Batteries, solar panels. I got 2 solar panels running right now, 2 100-watt panels, and that's, this time of the year, that's all the power I need to run all my systems. I got a TV in here. I got a 27-inch LED TV, so I can watch TV. I have a DVD player. I got a fridge that runs off of power. If you were to have a girlfriend, would she be of a liberal mindset or a conservative mindset? Well, I get what you're saying. And liberal or conservative, like, I think you're trying to ask, like, am I liberal or conservative? It's like, that's, I'm both. I'm totally both. I'm actually totally both. But I mean, I'm not, so you say, like, am I a centrist? Am I in the middle? I don't know, I guess in a way, but it depends on who you talk to. Like, you know how things are right now with the politics. So what's up with the poop stick? Outdoor Gypsy is brave enough to ask. I'm assuming you stir your poop to keep it from sticking in the tanks. Outdoor Gypsy, you're exactly right. I've never used the poop stick, and I never will. It's so freaking disgusting. I don't have any, I never get clogs in my black tank. I use Anna's Adventure talks about the toilet paper. She calls it the prison toilet paper. That's the toilet paper I use, Anna, is the single ply toilet paper. I buy, it's Scott. It's like septic safe, and it says it's like I think it's called 1,000 or something. I don't know, but I get that at Walmart. I get the big chub pack of it, and one roll lasts me. What's it last? I don't know, a couple weeks or something like that. But yeah, I buy that thin stuff, and I don't have any problems with clogs. I've used the other stuff before when I first started, like the normal house stuff, and I never got clogged with that either. But I just figured play it safe. I found a toilet paper I like, and it's the cheap. It's not cheap. It's actually kind of expensive for what it is, but it's the prison toilet paper. It's the one ply. So yeah, the poop stick. What happens is if you go to RV dumps, and I've seen this. It depends on where you go, but it was in one of my videos once, and that was in Flagstaff. There was an RV dump, at a gas station, and you'll find them at gas stations or truck stops is where you'll see this actually, or rest areas. If they have an RV dump, a lot of times you'll see a stick, like a stick that's would be just the right length, and it's good sturdy thickness. It's not super thin. It's good. It's like a a stick, like something you could stir your poop with. And you'll see that sitting by the dump. Do not touch that stick because you don't know which end is the good end. And what happened is somebody used that in their rig to stir their pooper because they got a clog. And then they're like, oh, what do I do with the stick? And they just leave it there. Don't touch that stick. Don't touch the poop stick. Oh, I should have put on my glasses for that. You guys didn't like the glasses anyway. Scotty, it's good seeing you here. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being a moderator. I don't know what I made a couple of people moderators tonight because I thought we should try that. Because I thought you could send me questions and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like it worked tonight, but I appreciate you trying. And we'll try it again next live stream to keep things running really smooth. Anna, so Anna's upset. She's like, I didn't talk to a psychic. I have talked to psychos, though. She's prophetic and hears from God. Okay. So, Anna, yeah, when I said psychic, I was like, am I using the right word? Because that's how I interpreted that video, was like, oh, she's a psychic. I did grow up religious, but I'm not religious now in my current state. So in my mind, that's how I interpreted that. So if I offended you or by calling her a psychic, because you're saying she's prophetic and hears from God, and people are different. You have talked to psychos, though. Me too. Like I have too, actually. I had an experience that I hope Anna and I meet up sometime because I want to share that with her. I'm sure she can share some stories too. Certain things, like I feel like, oh, I really want to talk to other YouTubers about, because we have a lot in common. Being a YouTuber is a weird thing. It's not really, doesn't totally fit my personality, but I'm learning how to deal with it. So hopefully Anna and I will get together someday and we'll talk about it on camera. Maybe not. Tideline to Alpine has awesome videos, and Frank. Lily, yes, I agree. Lily Tapp is saying that about Tideline to Alpine. She has really cool videos. They're kind of similar to ours, nature oriented, and she has an older dog that she travels with. She's been doing this lifestyle a lot longer than us. She has a lot of experience, and she knows what she's doing. I mean, she has a cool channel, Tideline to Alpine. Yeah, her name's Amanda. She has a cool channel. I don't believe in anything weird. It's true. Why am I seeing blue dots? I don't know. You must be having a weird experience. All right, you guys. It's been good talking to you. I just want to read like every comment. Some people I see doing live streams, and we got more people watching right now. So maybe you guys want me to keep chatting. I don't really know, but I see Van Life Plus. I don't watch a lot of his videos anymore because he puts out really long videos, but he has a cool channel, so you might check out his channel. He's a weird guy. He's a wacko guy. He's not wacko. He's just like, he's goofy. He's funny. That's Van Life Plus. But he does these live streams, and he did one the other night. It's like 5 hours long, and I'm like, do people really stay tuned in for that long? So I'm afraid of doing like long live streams. That's why I'm trying to like kind of cut it off right now. So Anna says that she and I are opposite. She says she smells good, she shaves, and she uses 2-ply. Okay, well, that's what I'm getting at with this nomad life thing, is like, you can make it whatever you want. Whatever's important to you. If it's important to you to smell good, like, I don't know who for. Like, if you're a nomad by yourself, who's smelling you? Except for Roxy, which maybe that's what she prefers. I like to think of it like, my dogs won't be able to find me in the woods if I don't smell. Like, they'll be like, where is he? Where is he? So you can make this life however you want. Whatever's important to you, you can focus on, and then make those your priorities. So smelling good, shaving, and using 2-ply are not my priorities. Thanks for clearing that mystery up. I don't know what mystery, but oh, the poop stick. Have you ever been dirtier than you were when I went to Burning Man? If you guys haven't seen my Burning Man videos, I went through a pretty extreme situation. I've been to Burning Man years before several times, so I knew what I was getting into. And I had a great time this time. But watch a couple of my Burning Man videos and you'll see dirty. You'll see dirty. Okay, so Scotty, he says, I didn't have any idiots in here tonight. Yeah, actually, in our live streams, everybody's always really cool. I don't get any bad people in the comments, but it can happen, I guess. It looks like Scotty can kick people out, so that's cool. At some point, when we get tons of viewers, and that'll be really helpful. Thanks, Scotty, for doing your part. That's really awesome. You don't have to. I've talked to you before, so I was like, yeah, Scotty would be a good moderator. There's another level I can make moderators, and then I think you can send me questions from other people, I hope, or something like that. So we'll try that next time. Hello from Victorville, California. I camp in California occasionally. I've been to Death Valley, and I got some cool spots in California, but not anywhere near like the cities in California, right? You go to Slab City or Salton Sea, those are really cool places, but they don't feel like California. It's not what you think of when you think of California. You think of San Francisco, San Diego, LA, places I would never go. Hopefully it's not lagging now. Anna sees blue dots too, but I don't see any blue dots. She says they're in the background, but there's nothing back there. That's just echo. So if you guys are seeing blue dots, then you're weird. Lily Tapp. Okay, she said, thanks for turning me on to Tideline to Alpine and Anna's Adventures. Those are two really cool channels. Sarah Yak, her videos lately, are not my taste because she's like building a van and it's like, it's not really my thing. But Sarah Yak, if you go watch some of her older videos, she makes great videos. She really has, she's very artistic and she makes really cool videos. So if you're looking for another female creator, she's a cool one. I really like Sarah Yak. But creators, they kind of go through these waves about their their life. I'm talking about nomad creators. And Van City Van Life is another good one, but he's like opened the shop now and stuff. He's always like talking about his shop, and that can be interesting sometimes for me. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to see like van life stuff. That's what I was watching. That's why I started watching. But at the same time, it's like you have a channel. It's your channel. Make it how you want. Just like we were talking about Carolyn's RV Adventures or Carolyn's RV Life, that channel. She makes her channel however she wants, and more power to her. There's some things you like, some things you don't like. But that's the cool thing about YouTube is you can do whatever the crap you want. Okay, Anna, this is for you. She says, put the glasses back on. Man, I was watching on Anna's channel. She was having Roxy speak like Dodger, and Roxy has a really good bark. I gotta admit it. Roxy does have a really good bark. You looked miserable during the sandstorm at Burning Man. Well, I gotta admit something, Brian. Yeah, that's a weird experience. If you want to see weird, watch my Burning Man videos. Because yeah, I was filthy. I got one shower. I had a lot of wet wipes, but I got one shower there. I could have taken a couple more, but I didn't know they had the shower set up. I was camped with a big group, and they had a group shower you could use, as long as you supply your own water. So I looked miserable. And you know what? Yeah, I've said this before, Brian. I was miserable at Burning Man. But here's the thing is like, I loved it. I love being miserable. As long as I'm, as long as I know I'm safe and I have some supplies and stuff that I need and a decent shelter. And sometimes actually I didn't have a decent shelter. You could see that in those videos. But what did they say about misery breeds? I don't know. What do they say? But I got that from backpacking. Me, Dodger, and I, we would backpack, and it's like, oh, this is a blizzard. We're on the top of a mountain peak in a blizzard in a tiny little tent with just me and Dodger in there, and the walls are kind of coming in, and you open the tent, it's just flurries of snow coming in. It's just snow, just whiteout, just crazy, like windstorm. And I love it. I loved it. I love that kind of stuff. So being at Burning Man during a dust storm is insane. And people either love Burning Man or they hate it. And I'm one of the people that I loved it. But I don't think I'm ever going back. And that's kind of for a different reason. But yeah, Burning Man costs a lot of money. It's crazy. It's like this lifestyle is so cheap. If you go to Burning Man for 2 weeks and it's expensive. It's nuts. Wonder Hussy, yeah, she has a cool channel too. I watched some of Wonder Hussy's videos. Random Spirit says she sees a blue dots and blue circle. Okay, well, Random Spirit, there's nothing back there. I don't know. I really don't know what you're seeing. I really don't know. Okay, we're trying to catch up on these comments. So this is the point now in the video where, we don't have to get so weird. I'm just going to keep answering these comments. It seems like we got a lot of people watching right now, so it's kind of fun. But my voice is kind of getting a little hoarse. Liz Ann says she sees blue dots too. I don't... Blue dot? Like pale blue dot? Like Carl Sagan or something? Here's a weird question. I always refer to you as Go. What is your actual name? We talked about that earlier. Basically, I'm just a mysterious person, and I'm not going to tell you my name. Unless I meet you in person, then I'll tell you my name. I just feel like it kills, like, the mystery. I'd rather have you, like, wondering. Or just come up with a nickname or something. I don't know. I'll probably say my name at some point. It's just like I was saying before, is like I live in the moment, so I don't, it feels weird to me to be like, hi, my name is, or like, now, like, you guys know I'm in Quartzsite, but when I'm hiking around in Oregon, I'm not like, I'm in Oregon right now, because my state of mind is I'm here right now. I'm right next to that tree right now. This is what you see, like, this is where I am. I'm not thinking like this is Oregon. I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess I'm just trying to be in the moment. I just emailed you a screen print of the blue dots. Okay, I guess it's going to be an empty screenshot. Yeah, Roxy is a really cool dog. I used to have a Basset Hound, and Roxy reminds me of the Basset Hound that I used to have. And when you watch people's videos, like you guys have seen Mr. Echo and Dodger a lot, so you kind of understand like their personalities a little bit, and you like to see them. Roxy's a good mascot. She's a really good mascot for Anna's channel. It looks like a neon light behind him. Maybe it's a UFO or something. You had that nice round tent, and you did fix a littering to keep the sand out. I can't quite understand what you're saying there. Oh, that nice round tent. You're probably talking about the shift pod. It's like a silver space capsule thing. And that thing was awesome. But the zippers were blown out on it. I was borrowing it from somebody. The zippers didn't work. So that was kind of a crazy experience. Misery loves company. That's what I was thinking of. But that's not right. What I mean is misery breeds happiness. That's weird to say. In some cases, right? Yeah, in some cases it does. It makes you feel alive. It's like jumping into a frozen lake. It's like, oh, this is not comfortable. But when you get out, you're like, whoa, I feel ready to go. Yeah, so the Shift Pod is that's a good product. Those things cost like $1,000 or more. But the zippers were busted on that thing, so sandstorms would come right through, right through there. But it was still better. I mean, it was that was the best. That was one of the best. I used to build structures, and I would live in those when I would go to Burning Man. But this time, all I had was like a REI tent. I thought I wanted to go to Burning Man until your videos. That's from Joe's Outdoor Places. Joe's Outdoor Places is one of our Patreon members. I see him in there a lot. Actually, Joe, you seem to comment on almost every video that I post on Patreon. And that's cool to know that people are watching our videos on Patreon. Sometimes I just post little updates. Sometimes I have like behind the scenes stuff or stuff that I cut out from our regular videos that you don't see on YouTube. You know, like stuff that I edit out or that I don't edit into the video. So there's like extra footage and then like updates. And so it's cool when people watch those videos on Patreon. All right, you guys, we got 75 thumbs up. We got 91 people watching. So please hit that thumbs up button. Let us know that you're watching the live stream right now. Happy poop stirring, everyone. Good night, Outdoor Gypsy. Random Spirit says, now the blue lights are moving. Well, stop shaking your head. Yeah, Brian, our channel is doing really good. Like, I'm really happy. Like, we've been getting a lot of subscribers, and that feels really good. And it's always nice when the people that comment on our videos are really leaving good comments, like comments that help me out. Critiques are great, you know, but the negative comments, you used to get a lot more negative comments when our channel started. I think that's kind of one of the things you go through as a YouTuber, and you start to develop an audience that really enjoys, at least to some degree, what you're doing. Or at least the people that don't like what you're doing, they leave helpful critiques or like honest critiques. YouTube will filter out comments, and so sometimes, for a while, I was like, don't read the comments that YouTube filters out because they were bad, like really bad. Now I can read the ones that they filter out, and sometimes they'll just have like a bad word in it or whatever. And almost all of them I let go through. Like I try not to censor if people say mean stuff or whatever. You know, I try not to censor the comments. YouTube cuts them out and they put them in a separate folder if they think they're questionable, and then I can go in there and look at them. Okay, Sundancer, what? Ask me a weird question. I'll answer any of your weird questions. You guys are talking about colors and lights and stuff. That's weird. Anna, are you kidding me? Anna, that's so nice of you. I'm not going to buy 2-ply toilet paper. You develop these systems and it's like someone tries to say like, no, you should do this. You should try that. I have tried 2-ply and yeah, whatever. I like the single ply. I use it as, I don't buy Kleenex. So if I ever have to blow my nose, because, it gets dusty, you know about that. And so I blow my nose and I use the single ply. And you kind of do have to double it up so you don't blow through it. But it works for me. I don't know. I don't know. It works for me. I'm tough. That's nice of you, Anna, to send us a super thanks. Super chat. Oh, Anna, by the way, Anna on Anna's Adventure channel, she did a video a while ago, and I guess it's like one of her things where she does a cliffhanger. She's always doing these cliffhangers. She was doing the cliffhangers last year, and she's doing it this year too. So this year, she took 3 styrofoam bowls. Oh, and so Anna, that's what I would tell you is don't buy, or they're paper bowls or whatever. Don't buy disposable bowls. Use your one bowl Just have one bowl for everything. I use that to feed the dogs. I use it to eat out of. And then you just have one bowl. You're not filling up your trash with paper bowls. But she did this video. Go check out her channel and watch her video where she put my name. She wrote "got out" on the underside of a bowl, and a couple other YouTubers, My Nomadic Dream and another YouTuber. And she's going to let Roxy pick who she meets up with. And I mean, it's an interesting way to do it. I was excited. I was like, well, who's Roxy going to pick? Because she's letting Roxy pick the YouTuber that she meets up with. But at the end of the video, nothing happens. So, I mean, talk about clickbait. Actually, talk about clickbait. I got to say, that was a clickbait video. Because I watched it and she's saying, oh, yeah, Roxy's going to pick. Who's she going to pick? I'm going to put food in each bowl, and I'm going to put really good food in the got out bowl. And in the other bowls, I'm going to put like peas or something. That's what she said. But then it never happened. So we'll see if she ever fulfills that promise and lets Roxy pick us. Yeah, Brian, it's weird when you see someone else camping in your spot, or like a place that you're familiar with, or going to an RV park that you're familiar with. Like you're talking about Black Bart's, where I get water in Flagstaff. There's other places you can get water too, but I just found that to be really convenient. It's like $5, and I fill up my truck with water, and then bring it back up to our campsite. Flagstaff is a cool place to camp. We're going to be headed there in a couple months or something like that. We'll be up in there. Blue dots, blue dots. Hey, Debbie, it's good to see you. Oh, Debbie, I saw you posted a comment saying that you wanted to send us a package. There's a way. Well, I'll see if I can contact you or something, or you can send me an email. I don't check my emails that much though. That's the thing. But anyways, on Amazon, in our description or on our channel page, we have a wish list, and if you go on the Amazon wish list, then you can send us something from our wish list, but you can also send anything else from Amazon. That's one way. You can send us something if you wanted to. Send some treats for the dogs. That's what I really like getting, is treats for the dogs. Man, someone sent us a brush for the dogs. I wrote the person's name on there, on the brush too. I've been writing your name down. Anytime anybody sends something, I write it on the product so I don't forget. But that brush was awesome for the dogs. I'm going to put that in a video coming up soon. I got a video where I want to do like 3 items that I love having for my dogs. That's the bad title for a video. It's so hard coming up with titles and thumbnails. But titles, oh, so hard. I'll spend hours thinking about a title. It's just like I'm just, hiking around doing. Yeah, a lot of times I'll be hiking and I'll be thinking about a title. I'll just be like, oh, this title or that title for the videos. Chris says he bought that dog brush for his dog. That's awesome, Chris. Seriously, like when I recommend products, you can tell when I'm like, no, this is a good product. Like Echo's tracker, you can kind of see it there, that green thing. I love that product. I have no problem recommending that to anybody who wants to track their activity on their dog or their cat. I love that thing. If they're not a sponsor, I love it. Anna, thanks for your congratulations on our 7,000 subscribers. Anna's channel has probably been growing too since she's been in Quartzsite. Seems like a lot of people like to watch the Quartzsite videos. Well, Kathleen, if you like watching me fix things, you should have seen me today because it did not go well. I guess it doesn't always go well. It just doesn't. I just thought it was going to be an easy upgrade, and it's getting a little more complicated because it involves another project that has to be done at the same time. And but like I was saying, I was grumpy today. I was so grumpy. Hi, Bonnie from Minnesota. KB Barbecue says that they send me telepathic messages. I appreciate that, but I don't believe in it. Are you guys nomads? Like, who here is a nomad and who's not? Where do you live? Put that in the chat right now. Do you live in an apartment, a house, a bus, a van, a car, a box? Where do you live? I live in this trailer. I have my truck, and we travel full time. We live in nature, generally on public lands, campsites, campgrounds. We stay for a week or two, and we hang out, hike with my dogs, learn about the lifestyle, and we still have a lot to learn. When I started this thing, I'd never towed a trailer before. I didn't know anything about RVs. I didn't know anything. I didn't know the difference between a black tank and a gray tank. I could have figured that one out, but I didn't know anything about RV life. And you just learn about it. And that's why I started the channel, was because I was learning so much. I felt like I wanted to share what we're learning. And now we kind of learn more about like philosophies and ways to do things rather than technical stuff. Although stuff is always breaking, so I'm having to learn how to, someday my fridge is going to go tits up and I'm going to have to fix my fridge or the stove or whatever, or the toilet. So you have to learn about those things. So it's like I'm learning all this stuff and it's like, oh, that's helpful to people. And it's interesting. It's interesting to me, so I was like, it's got to be interesting to other people. That's why I started the channel. Did I see the rocket in the sky? I didn't see anything weird in the sky lately. But out here in Quartzsite, if you just sit outside for a while, um, a lot of times you'll see, shooting stars, meteors. And last year, I saw one that lit up the sky for a long time. It was like an explosion. It was crazy. It's just it gets so dark here that you can just see that stuff. And it just seems so close. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay, you guys are trying to give me stupid names. Oh, Echo, here's something. What do you hear? It's nothing. He was barking at something last night. I think the coyotes kind of come walking around. There might be a fox or something like that walking around at night. And then I'll be in bed and he'll start barking like, oh, he's all brave. And then he comes and snuggles with me in bed. He's like, oh, I'm going to go sleep in bed. Do you think that anyone could talk way too much about dogs or no? Do I talk about dogs too much? The thing is, that I basically have become a dog. Like, I live with dogs. They bring their dirt in. I sleep with the dogs. I probably smell the same. I smell worse than the dog, actually, because I smell like a dog and a human. Random Spirit has a suggested title for my video. 3 things nomad dogs love. Dang. I like it. That's actually pretty good. 3 things nomad dogs love. Huh. I like that, Random Spirit. I'm going to write that down. Thank you. 3 things nomad dogs love. But yeah, you could also do 3 things nomad dogs need, or like can't live without, you know. That's good, Random Spirit. Really good. See, I'm not that fast. I'm a creative person, but you know, some things we're not we're not as good at. Yeah, Anna, we could talk about that sometime. We could talk about YouTube, the YouTube ins and outs, about subscribers and views. We could have some great discussions about YouTube. I am dying to talk to other YouTubers. There's some YouTuber meetups here in Quartzsite, and I'm gonna hit those next year. The 1 or 2 that I was really planning to go to, I was sick, and I'm not gonna. I didn't want to be around people while I was sick. I mean, I felt like crap, but I didn't want to get anybody sick. Because I really want to talk about YouTube with other YouTubers, because it's such a weird thing and it's so complex. There's so many like things to know and ideas, and I can only come up with so many concepts that work on my own, you know. So people are saying they live in Anza. Let's see, William lives in a box. Zame lives in a house. Sundancer lives in an RV. William lives in a truck. Brian lives in a trailer. Scotty lives in a condo. It's with 6 dogs. Slab City from Quartzsite is not that far away. I couldn't say exactly, but I want to say like 2 hours. It's probably 3 hours. Debbie owns a house, but she's been doing van life for 6 months. That's interesting. Blair lives in a house. Bonnie lives in a house. Jeff lives on Earth. Cameron is part nomad. That's a good way to do things. Like if you're not sure if you want to be a nomad, go out and do it for just a couple months. Just grab a van, stick a sleeping bag in there, and your Costco card, and then hit some Walmarts to get some gear that you decide you need, and do it for a month or 2, and you'll probably hate it. There'll be things you'll be like, oh God, I can never do this. But you'll remember that month or 2 that you took probably for the rest of your life. And if you love it, then maybe you'll do it for longer. But don't commit to anything. Like, don't commit to being a nomad. I guess I did. Like when I started out, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna live in my truck," and I was ready to do it. Like I was happy to do it. But I wouldn't suggest anybody just commit to it. Just go do it temporarily, and then you can make a decision later once you have some practice. Benjamin is a nomad in a tent, riding a bicycle to the Pacific. Dang, that's hardcore. JR is a nomad. My wife and I live in our travel trailer full time. JR, do you guys get along? I mean, is that too personal of a question to ask? I'm sure you'd ask me that, but I'm curious. Like living, I'm glad nobody lives in here with me except the dogs. Scotty's gonna be a nomad. I think Scotty's building a trailer. That's what I want to say. He's planning. I will begin full-time nomad life in 2027. So he's got a plan. Rebecca's been working towards being on the road. I've been dreaming of a small motor home to a small travel trailer to now a camper shell. Oh, camper shell. That if you have it sounds like you have a truck. So yeah, I would do the camper shell, because the thing is that's going to be cheap. You can try things out, and then you can decide if you want a trailer or a motorhome or a bus or whatever later. Yeah, I mean, that's how I started it out, actually, was with my truck and the shell that you've seen on it. And it's not, I don't have a camper, I just have what do they call it? It's just a camper shell. It's just a shell. So you just lay in the bed of the truck. And I loved it. Me and the dogs. We had all our gear in the truck, and we slept in the bed of the truck, and I loved it. You can get anywhere with the truck too. That's the other thing. Throw a camper shell in your truck, you can get anywhere. Alucius says, got my storage room and gave landlady my notice. Oh yeah, I'm feeling you, Alucius. I know what that's like. Like, I did the same thing. I think we were talking about that before in the last live stream. Uh, yeah, storage, those self-storage places are a total rip-off, but if you have a good use for it, and I think this is a good use for it, then they are a steal, because it's like, oh, I have this room where I can go back anytime I want, get the gear I want, store gear in there, figure out what I need, what I don't need, get rid of stuff, sell stuff. Then you're going to save a lot of money. You give your landlord notice, you're saving money right away. Debbie says, I talk to my dogs more than I talk to people. I never talk to my dogs, so they're dogs and I'm a human, so we don't have conversations. I think I would be crazy if I talked to my dogs. They're dogs. They don't understand English. I've seen the word outsider being used for folks who live outside most of the time. Is that a new cool alternate for nomad? Outsider, like a wild man, like a wild person, outdoorsman, woodsman, bushcrafter. William lives in a box truck. That's a good idea too. I like that. I like that. Because a box truck is probably easier to repair than a motorhome. It was just a truck, right? Especially if you get something that's like a Ford, or it's just like a van with a box on the back. And they're huge. You can stand up in them. You build it out however you want. Put whatever furniture you want in there. Put windows in it and stuff like that. Box truck. And that's probably pretty cheap too. Like, you get a U-Haul, something like that. JR says that they've hiked over 100 miles of the Smoky Mountains. Yeah, I used to be a backpacker when I lived in Seattle. I would backpack a lot, and you know, just for 2 or 3 nights usually. Sometimes I'd go out for a week, something like that. And a lot of times with Dodger, it'd be me and Dodger. Echo's only done that with me a little bit, but Dodger and I are like, we're backpacking buddies, and hiking was my thing. When you're living in the city, it's like that's how you get away. You go hike up in the mountains. And that's what I would suggest. If, like, my channel's called Got Out, and it's about getting out of your element, getting outside, getting out of a bad situation. It's about all that stuff. And I'm not necessarily encouraging people to be a nomad. Actually, I'm definitely not encouraging anybody to be a full-time nomad, but I feel totally safe and happy to encourage people to go camping. Throw some gear in a car and go to a state park, or throw some gear in a backpack if you want, and go hike in the mountains. Set up a tent in the woods. Get scared at night. Hear weird sounds at night. Weird weather, and all in your little tent with your dog. If you're lucky, you got a dog. Anybody can do that. Most people can do that, and most anybody, if you can drive around, you can go to a state park and you pay, $35, $50 a night. It's expensive, but a lot of good hiking and very safe. And when you're living in the city, or like living in a condo, Who was it that was saying they live in a condo? If you feel cooped up, go camping. It's cheap. You get dirty. You're gonna be uncomfortable, but you're gonna remember that experience. It's healthy because you're getting exercise, you're getting sun, you're getting fresh air, fresh air. Kathleen, why do you think you have so many female subscribers? We can see in our stats, as a YouTuber, you can see like male and female. Like for me, it's usually like 30% female. Um, it's like 30% female, 70% male. Like on a video, something like that, and that's pretty high for uh, females. But if you're a woman, you're probably going to see the opposite. You're probably going to see um, a lot. It would probably be like 90% men. I would bet something like that, or 80%. So it's kind of just different. I think because I have dogs, because I have two dogs, and people like dogs. Women like dogs. Men like dogs too. Kathleen says she lives in her head. Lucius is committed to being a nomad, it sounds like. Dogs understand a lot more than you think. Yeah. That's like I've always been a dog person. Whenever I see a dog, like even just across the street or whatever, this is kind of getting into that psychic thing. Um, I don't feel like I have a psychic connection with dogs. It's just like I always feel like I know what that dog's thinking. I feel that way about actually a lot of animals, like in nature, wild animals. Like when I see those bears and stuff, it's like I feel like I can tell what they're thinking, what their motivations are, and it's I've I've learned that not everybody feels that way. Not everybody can look at a dog and know like what the state of mind of that animal is. And I feel like it just happens like like an intuition that I have with so many animals. Like yeah, a lot of animals. But especially like, big mammals like deer and dogs and stuff like that. Christy lives stationary in her trailer with 3 dogs. I'm a dog too now. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. You turn into a dog. But that means you're more loyal. It means it means you're attuned to your surroundings. It means that you're prepared and you will put up a fight if necessary. And it means that you're ready to have a good time and you're generally happy. That's what dogs are. Paul says, I want to get a camper like what you have, do a travel trailer, whatever, but everyone I see on these channels are like stealth camping, stealth this and stealth that. Yeah, that's because they're being stealth, like in towns and cities and stuff like that. You see that on Van City Van Life's channel. He'll like camp, like on the side of the road in some neighborhood. He'll be like, go to an industrial area and camp there in your van or your car. And some people like do that out of necessity, I think, in a lot of cases, because they're working in town kind of thing, or they need to stay in town for whatever reason. For me, it's all about getting out and getting out of town, getting out of the city. But if you're in a van, van is, I mean, that's like the easiest way to go, and you'd be living kind of comfortably. A lot of vans, you can't stand up in, but it's better than like your car. If you have a car, station wagon, or something like that, you can do that. Live in a Subaru. Um, who is that? Nikki Delventhal. She has a channel, a nomadic channel, and when she started out, she was living in a Prius. And people were saying like, "Oh, she doesn't really live in that," but I think she was. It seemed like she was based on her channel, a Prius for like a few years. Now I think she has a truck or something. I don't really watch her channel that much anymore. Yeah, dogs. Yeah, I was just kidding. Of course, I talk to my dogs all the time. I don't even think about it as being weird. Like, who wouldn't talk to their dogs? Everybody talks to their dogs. And when you live with them, you just talk to them more. They understand that stuff. And, you're talking about nonverbal communication, Joe. Yeah, dogs communicate with each other nonverbally all the time. One thing I do with my dogs is I always use hand signals. So I have, sounds that I make or words that I say that are commands, and I have hand signals for those generally. And with Dodger, his hearing isn't as great anymore, so I have a lot of hand signals, and and also ways that I touch him. That really helps a lot. Just ways that I touch him. A certain pat that I give him means okay, move along. Or if I touch him a certain way, it means stop where you are. Or I can put my hand out like that, and as long as he sees me, he'll stop. He'll freeze right where he is, just with my hand. I used to just say it verbally and do the hand motion, so he could hear me. If he wasn't looking at me, he could still follow my command. But his hearing just isn't as good if he's far away. Time Man says, I lived in a Class C travel trailer. Now he lives in a house. Okay, so JR was talking about he lives with his. I'm not sure if he lives in 4 years in a travel trailer with our terrier. So with his wife, and I was asking him about how they get along. He says we get along together very well and get happier with every new day. All right, well, you lucked out. That sounds freaking awesome. Get happier every day. I mean, that's what the heck, man. I mean, how could it get better, right? I mean, I get happier every day too with my dogs. Like I don't live with anybody, but yeah, that's a good place to be. Bonnie, I'm not gonna live. I don't live in Quartzsite. I'm just gonna be here for another month or two, and then we're gonna hit the road. Travel plans, though. I was thinking about this today. I don't really make plans for my travel for the most part. I kind of live by the seat of my pants. It's like, oh, I feel like going. Where am I going to sleep? I don't know, but I will see how far I feel like driving, and then might stay at a rest area, and I might get somewhere and say like, that looks like there might be some camping around here, and I'll pull up iOverlander and find a new place to camp. I also have a lot of pins now of places that I've camped before, so it's a lot easier for me to hit the road and know like I'll be able to find a spot. Rebecca, good luck to you. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying in your comment, but it sounds. I'm not sure what you're saying in your comment. I think you're talking about an animal, like your pet. Um, man, your pets give you so much happiness and so much joy, comfort, safety, memories, right? Like me and Dodger. Like I would do anything for Dodger. Any, I can't even talk about it, but I would do anything for him. It's very easy for me to do anything for him. Paul. My point is, you can't decide whether you like living that lifestyle in 2 weeks. You've got to give it time because you have to acclimate um, to decide. Yeah, I would say don't just be like I'm going to be a nomad. Go try it out for a while. Yeah, throw your stuff into a van or your pickup and travel around and see what it's like and have a good time camping, enjoying nature or whatever it is you want to enjoy, and learn about the gear and what kind of shelving you want or what kind of fridge works for you, what kind of system you need. Do you need solar panels? All that kind of stuff. And you won't know that unless you go out and do it. And don't buy anything that's completely built out, I would say, because it's not going to be what you want. Everybody's different. And you're going to have different needs. You're going to have to change all that stuff. So start out as bare bones as you can, and then add the stuff as you go along. Cameron lives in a two-wheel camper. A two-wheel camper. I guess I have a four-wheel camper. Brian says, I know what my dog is thinking. Lucius's dog knows over 50 words. Yeah, my dogs, like, they can tell by my emotions, when I'm talking, when I'm saying things. It's just how it is. We're around each other all the time. It's like we have to do that. It's like that's just how it is. When a bear looks at me, I know exactly what it's thinking. Oh yeah, I do believe in intuition, but I don't believe in psychic abilities. How long have I been nomadic? This is a question from Lene. I think we're on season 5 on the channel here, so I think we're in our 5th year. Yeah, I still feel like it's weird for me to say that because I feel like it's been like 2 years or a year and a half or something. I don't know how to explain that. Like I just feel like a newbie at this lifestyle. Thanks for hitting the like button, you guys. It's been awesome getting weird with you. I hope. I mean, you guys didn't ask any crazy weird questions, but we got to talk about the poop stick. We got to talk about the guy that I ran into in the middle of the night that was telling me he's looking for a hideout. That creeped me out. I'm not going to be the mayor of Quartzsite. I love Quartzsite though. It's very cool. It's kind of my kind of place. I like eclectic places. I like hippies. So anytime there's hippie stuff, I like that. I do. Like I feel really comfortable. Now if I was talking to the hippies about certain topics, we might have some disagreements or something like that. But I really like hippies, and I mean, in a lot of ways, right? Weird question. Do you see any nomads hauling container gardens around with them? There was once. This is from Random Spirit. Once there was, I was camped actually here in Quartzsite years ago, a few years ago, in the 2 week area where you can camp for 2 weeks, then you have to move on for free. And she didn't knock on my trailer, but she came around to my trailer and she's like, hey, I'm taking off. I'm gonna leave my trailer over there. and I have a tomato plant in there. Will you come over and watch my tomato plant while I'm gone? She had a husband. It was her husband and wife, both of them actually. I guess they had seen me walking the dogs around. They're like, hey, he looks like an honest guy. So they wanted to give me the key to their trailer so I could watch their tomato plant. I guess water it or something. And I totally would have done that, but I was like, I said, oh, because I had to bring my trailer in to get fixed. So it was just bad timing. I was like, actually, I'm going to be leaving tomorrow because I got to take my trailer into town to get it fixed, and I'm not going to be back here for a couple days or something like that. And they were going to be gone for, I don't know, a week or something like that. They just left their rig there. They left their ATVs out. They probably had them locked up or something. But they said, hey, will you just kind of keep an eye on our ATVs while we're gone, just in case? I was like, yeah, but I'm going to be gone in a couple days. How do you find new free long-term locations to camp? Blair, this is a good question. And I've tried a few different, basically, apps. And you can ask people, too. Like, you can ask nomads, hey, where's a good place to camp? But I use iOverlander almost exclusively now. Which sounds weird, because I haven't had to use that app in, like, months since I've been here. Like, I think I've been here 2.5 months now. So it's going to be weird getting back on iOverlander looking for my spots, looking for new spots. That's how I find new spots to camp, iOverlander. It's a free app, but they have a pay thing now. But the free one seems to still work really well. What would be in that container? What container? I don't see a container. My voice is getting hoarse. You need a whole community like traveling. Sundancer. Jinx. You guys are really cool. I can't believe you're still in here. I'm trying to just kind of get through these comments. I'm just kind of having a fun time, like, reading what you guys are saying. I wish you could talk, though. I wish there was a way, like, like a radio show. Like, I could hear your voice. JR says, you're top 5 in my follow list. We love your laid-back lifestyle and enjoy the info you put out. Thanks, JR. I really appreciate that. I haven't been putting out as many videos lately, and it's been kind of bumming me out. Like, that's one of the reasons I'm doing a live tonight, because I'm like, I was supposed to be editing a video today, but I didn't get around to it because I was working on the roof, and so I thought, well, I can do a live stream tonight, at least, because that only takes a couple hours to do. But editing a video takes like 4 to 6 hours for me, usually. But I like doing 3 videos a week, and I have a lot of fun doing that. But it is, it's not easy. I mean, in a way, like, it's easy. Like, it is easy, but it takes a lot of time. Are you trying to get out of here? You should get Discord. I don't know. I try to not have like very many apps or sites that I visit. I'm just not. I don't know what Discord is. I hear people talk about it and stuff, but like, I don't use TikTok or any of that stuff. I use YouTube a lot, but I try to kind of limit it to that. Even like I was telling you about my email, like, I'm really bad about checking my email. I just kind of try to just make my videos and then hike with my dogs and fix stuff on the rig, basically. I've never seen a channel called Another Time, Another Place. That sounds like the beginning of The Dark Crystal. That's one of my favorite movies. Random Spirit. No, actually, I haven't been reading in a long time. What kind of music do I like? Um, you know, think about like the bands in Seattle in the '90s, like that kind of music. Grunge, anything that's like really distorted. I tend to like that a lot. I have a list of, like on Spotify, you can make a playlist, and I have this playlist that I play when I'm driving. And what happens is like a song becomes a theme of like a moment that I'm in, an adventure. Well, it's the same way for everybody, really, but they're all related to my travels as a nomad. So when I play that list, I hear a song, and I'm like, wow, it just brings me back. What's my most favorite place that I spent time, like a paradise I didn't want to leave? Scotty asked that question. I can't answer that question because I I always want to leave. At some point, I'm like ready to leave, but it can be a month or two before I want to leave. Like here in Quartzsite, I'm kind of like I kind of want to leave now, but I kind of want to stay. And I love it here. This Quartzsite's paradise to me. When I was in Utah, it's paradise. Go to Idaho. You go to like I had this one campsite in Idaho, and I was there for 2 weeks, and it's like nobody else would want to camp there. It's like I made some videos about it. It's desolate, but for me, it's paradise. I I don't stay at a place for more than a night or two if I don't feel like it's paradise for me. It might be a dump to everybody else, but to me, it's like no, I like it. What's my favorite film? Okay, we're really getting off topic. This is like weird, like personal stuff. It's like, but I'll answer because I like talking about film and TV. My favorite movie is The Graduate. It's a if you haven't seen that, then it has nothing to do with nomadic life. The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman, 1967, directed by Mike Nichols. That's my absolute favorite movie. TV show. I'm still watching Lost right now. I've seen Lost several times before. I love that show. That's an awesome show. I love Lost. But I also like the A Team. Did I ever solve the shoebox mystery? No. Actually, somebody was saying, and I kind of think they're right now. That was in California. I found a bunch of shoeboxes that were empty Nike shoeboxes, and in the video, as it was happening, I was trying to put things together. I was like, oh, someone stole a bunch of shoes and then they left all the shoe boxes out here in the middle of the desert. But it kind of doesn't make sense. What somebody said was they thought it was people crossing the border illegally, and then somehow they need shoes, and people give them shoes or something. That kind of makes more sense because why would you leave the shoe boxes behind? If you were going to sell the shoes, you would probably want to sell them with the shoe boxes. Yeah, The Dark Crystal is one of my favorite movies too. Actually, yeah, I love The Dark Crystal. I got a lot of. I mean, we could talk about movies, but that's not what this channel's about. All right, you guys, it's been real. It's been really weird. It's been fun talking to you guys. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. I gotta eat my pizza. I'm so hungry. You guys, You guys don't understand. Like, I'm super hungry, so I got to eat. It's been awesome, you guys. It really has. Like, it's been a lot of fun.